Native American men have had a hard time finding their place in modern society. The past cultural obliteration took away their traditional role as provider, and they've not been able to overcome the hardships of centuries of oppression. Most men find work as manual laborers, though some have become lawyers and work for the tribe. Others have been entrepreneurs, but the majority have not been able to attain white-collar jobs. So for all the problems they have assimilating with modern society, they are still respected and hold prominent positions in their communities as tribal judges, tribal chairmen, and administrators, and in casino positions. And the elders. The elders are someone widely recognized and respected. They can be male or female. They are not appointed as an elder, but they just kind of become one by gaining knowledge and wisdom during their lifetime. They teach about the tribe's culture and traditions. Elders are seen as libraries of Indian knowledge, history, and tradition. They meet to discuss issues regarding the tribe and try to come to an agreement about what should be done. Elders are always present during things like council meetings. They do not have to contribute to meetings, but they are present. And it just says, I know how my father saw the world and his father before him, and that's how I see the world.
Hi, I'm dressed up as a Native American would back in the day, kind of, sort of, not without, yeah, but kind of, sort of, and I also have food. So the Native Americans would see food as a social thing, as a spiritual healing thing, and also as a very prideful thing because they were very inventive with their food. So even though many have now adapted to like the American culture of like the cuisine, and they're not necessarily always eating traditional Native American dishes, they still kind of rely a lot on their core food, which was the corn, the squash, and the beans. And then also for meats, they hunted a lot, so they ate a lot of deer, buffalo, rabbits, beavers, fish, and pork. So for the social aspect, they like to eat with a lot of their family, and because it was more of a hunting, gathering type of atmosphere and environment, they would kind of cook a lot, and so for the food not to go to waste, they would share it with the rest of their family, so it was very social. Hence also like the Thanksgiving feast, it was very big. And then they see it as healing because like their stews and their teas, they saw to have healing properties, such as things that like the medicine man would prescribe to them. So some of the teas that they would rely on for healing are like the spearmint, the sage, peppermint, clover, and rose hips. So this is kind of important for like us in the healthcare aspect, because maybe when we're dealing with a patient and we see that they're coming in with some weird stew like bird brain stew or some teas, we know that it's because they are trying to get their family member to heal and to get better. So these are some of the foods that they would have back in the day. Different, a lot of like corn, a lot of beans, things that they could crop on their own. And then these are a lot of the things that they would use in their teas for healing properties. And they even have like lots of literature and books with like research on how all these things can really heal and benefit a patient or their family member. And then their food, they're very prideful in it because it kind of influenced a lot of other cultures and their foods and their cuisines that they would have in the future. So for example, Mexican food can be derived a lot from like the Native Americans, or some of their tips that they would have kind of traveled into what further dishes would be. An example of this would be like their tortillas and their tamales, because for them, corn wasn't just one way to eat it. For example, like roasting it and eating it just on the cob, they would do different things with it. So maybe they would dry it up and then they would ground it then with different pieces of stone, which would then turn into a powder, and they would mix that in with water and other ingredients to kind of make a dough-like substance called a masa, and then from there they would make tortillas and tamales.
Right, I have communication, and I'm actually part Cherokee Indian, so the other day I called my grandma and I asked her about how to say things in Cherokee. She said my great-great-great-grandma, Miley Acree Michaels, was a Cherokee Indian, and she married a general in the Army named Jeff Acree. Throughout the years, they passed down how to say hello, how are you, and I'm fine. How to say hello in Cherokee is she you. If you say how are you, you say oh she gua shu. And to say I'm fine, which we all are because we're on break right now, is oh she guao. It is estimated that there is 1,800 different Native American languages, between 40 million Native Americans before the Europeans came. American Indians are generally quiet people. They believe that you should listen before you speak. This is kind of the same in nursing, because you should use a passive listening approach when you're listening to your patient. You should kind of let them talk before you say anything. You should never cast any judgment on what they say. It's the same with Native Americans. Native Americans believe that you should know somebody before you speak to them. You have to gain their trust, and sometimes this can take a long time before they will open up to you or even another American Indian. American Indians ask direct questions or expect an immediate response from people they don't know very well. This is some examples of hand communication for Native Americans. This would be buffalo, this is man, this is rising sun, this is teepee, this is you, and this is night. Nonverbal communication is very important in the Native American culture. Different tribes may speak many different languages, but they communicate through hand signals. When Native American Indians hunted, they would use hand or facial features in order to hunt. They would do this because when you say if you're hunting a deer, even if you're too loud, you will scare them away. And I remember as a kid when I would go hunting with my dad, he would teach me different hand gestures to say if there was a deer, and if I got too loud, it would scare him away. So I can kind of relate to that. When Native Americans would trade with one another, or Europeans, they would use pictures, hand gestures, or facial gestures to communicate what they wanted. Generally, they would just use pictures, and they would point, and then they would point to whatever money or whatever they were trading, and that's how they would communicate with other Europeans or other Native Americans. Communication in their version of healthcare is very important. If someone is sick, usually a medicine man will speak over them. He would verbally speak over spells. Generally, Native American Indians are very strong-minded people. Unless they were deathly ill or broke a bone or something, they wouldn't verbalize pain or sickness. In their culture, this is thought to be a sign of weakness. If someone dies in Native American culture, they usually keep their memory alive by telling stories of this person. Also, sometimes they would draw pictures, and they would just keep their memory alive in that way. And they would usually write on like animal skins or on cave walls and draw pictures to say what, or to communicate what they were saying. Smoke signals for Native Americans was an important way to do long distance communication. So fire was a communication tool. Smoke signals were communicated over long distances. It was a form of visual communication that signaled news, danger of people, the common area. Generally, the person sending it and the people receiving it were the only ones that knew what it meant, because otherwise the enemy or whoever else would know what they were saying. But generally, as a rule of thumb, common messages were one puff or one smoke stack would be a call of attention, 2 puffs would mean everything is okay, and 3 puffs would mean something is severely wrong, and they would want other people from the tribe to come to where they were.